a bohin green I was clearly seen as I went traipsing by. He stood quite still as if struck by a chill or a vision of ancient grace, and he gazed with a stare at my nut-brown hair till the blood rushed to his face. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, no lad I've seen has a look so keen as I saw here in County Down. And I knew the spell was cast. He gripped his walking stick with a hand so quick as he tripped o'er his feet. For a lad so bold, he was knocked from his hold by a girl that he chanced to meet. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, no lad I've met hasn't a name to set 'gainst the star of the County Down. Now they say he's gone to the harvest fair with the heart all in a knot, to ask my name and to play the game and to find my humble cot. Well, let him come and let him drum his fingers on the door. If he's half the wit as he's got the grit, I might like him a wee bit more. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, ne'er a lad I've sought has a heart so caught by the star of the County Down. Snow on the heather, smoke from the roofs. I stand on the ridgeline, breathing the proof. Sky like a pale bowl, frost in my hair, name on my tongue tip, thin in the air. I call across the pines, he's yellow, high and wild and wide. If you're lost, then follow the sound. Let it guide you through the night. tracks in the powder, turning and gone. Wind takes the branches, braids them in song. Far in the darkness, something replies, echo or answer, tears in my eyes. Ooh, where are you now? I won't fall silent. Call across the pines, he's yellow. Wild and wide. If you're lost, then follow.
Change the sensitivity too.
Let it
Hello, Joker.
through the night.
Okay. Now we gotta get everybody else up.
Come home here.
Okay. See if it's working. Yes? Yeah. Okay.
The music is going to be very loud for everybody.
I will turn it down.
We can pause it. Yeah. And you're going to drag it.
This one?
Yeah. So but first, you got to move the chat. It's over when- Yeah. Now just click the top one.
Here we go.
And then over here, you're going to need to turn that down. In
Just turn it down here. There.
and then
Huzzah.
I would click on Twitch. The top there to see have it up.
Okay. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
How is everybody doing? My husband watches your content a lot, and now I do. We love your show. Oh, they love watching you.
Well, thank you very much. Glad to have it. This
going
is
on
this
here?
is my wife.
Yes, yes. And we have Bearpaw, Adam Smith, hello, from Alberta. We got another Canadian. Hello, Milu, and Raijin, Quirt,
Oh, Rygen's in, huh?
Tyson, Gunner. Probably need to wait a little bit for some people to trickle in. Hello, Fallen Crow. Oh, cool. Now Milo's running on his wheel, so it's gonna be a little loud. Camera change, is it different? I think something happened.
Okay, go up to the upper. Yeah, go to the right hand corner.
Can I refresh it?
Well, I don't know what
It did it on its own. I
you
didn't,
did. No, you're clicking buttons. This is why I told you to just.
I didn't touch anything.
You did.
Just the volume.
Yeah, you should just come over here and done this volume,
Yeah.
and then it wouldn't have been an issue.
Wait, it would move to this instead of live
Yeah.
screen.
I know.
Milo. There we go.
Okay.
I don't know why it went down to that other scene. I don't even know what that one was. Hello, Songbird. Yes, happy Sunday. Yeah, we're back. It's fine, it's fine. Hello, Cassie, welcome. Gotta have a little bit of technical difficulties. Otherwise, I'd have to be concerned. Yes. Okay. We're definitely missing some people, so we can just chat for a little bit while we wait for others to trickle in. Thank you so much for the heart. What's that other one? It's a little arrow, but what does it say? Popular?
Go popular.
Go popular is cute. Thank you. I haven't seen that one yet. How is everyone doing? It's been warming up here. I feel like I'm cooking from the inside out, but that could just be me. That might not be the weather's fault. But it's that time of year. It was hot for you today, Milu? Because you said you had like a little bit of thunderstorm, right? The hair chair is probably hot too. Yeah, it's not going to help. And the light is very large. It's going to warm me up. Oh, thank you for the roses and the live. There's so many different little emoji things for the gifts on TikTok. It's hard to keep track of them all. There's so many options. But thank you so much. We appreciate that. It's up to 30? Wow. Yeah, I try to not go outside when it is anywhere in the 80s Fahrenheit and up. Because it's just too much for me.
Oh, that's why it smells like this out here.
What?
One of your cats tried to jump on top of there and pulled this whole bag of garlic off of the shelf. And it exploded all over everything.
So we have garlic powder everywhere?
Everywhere, literally everywhere.
Hello, Emerald Rain. Welcome back. And hello, Teresa. Sometimes I come in and don't say anything. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to. I just try to make sure that some of the regulars trickle in that are following the story have a chance to get in here because they get sad when they miss it.
Well,
so thank you for letting me know.
Everybody who comes in just so that they know they're welcome.
Erin, hello! And hello, Matty. Thank you for the raid, bringing over some newbies.
It's going to be loud.
Zoe the Archivist, hello. What?
It's going to be loud for a second. I'm going to up. So
I'll mute it while he vacuums the garlic powder. I can take care of it later, since you have to fix the sink.
Oh, because he knocked that off too. Where did this even come from?
Did I put those in there? We did have some dried shiitake mushrooms.
You must have, but I don't know where they were. They must have been up here.
Yeah, they were up there.
Here.
Alright. Okay. Anyway.
What a lunatic.
You are late, Erin. You didn't lose the streak, that's good. It's colder today. We had a whole week or more of summer weather and sunburned. Oof. And Thursday, now I have to pull out winter clothes again. Oh, that's crazy. The weather's just going back and forth, huh? Yeah. I mean, it smells like garlic, right? It's okay. We'll live. There are worse things. The other day, the dog was trying to kill me because I gave him some wet food. And that did not agree with his stomach, I guess. He enjoyed it, but...
Well, and luckily this is a part of the cabin I haven't cleaned yet, so...
Yeah. This is your first visit? Well, welcome in. Today we are reading Child of the Prophecy by Juliet Marie. We've actually made quite a bit of headway in this book, you can see. This is the side we need to finish. And it's the third book of a trilogy where it follows different protagonists of the same family line. But it is very good, based on, like, kind of steeped in Irish Celtic lore. The weekend was good for you? That's good. I've kind of lost track of the days. Like, even yesterday, I was like, oh yeah, today's Saturday. My brain. Yes, major gas attack. I was dying. I happened to be on a call with Milu, and she heard me, like... I was losing it. Can never make up its mind what's going to do here. That's gotta have its own grievances. But I'd rather just stay cool here. But we've got like maybe 1 month in Los Angeles that's absolutely beautiful, and then the rest of the months I don't care for. It's just hot. But I am in the valley, so if you're over by the coast, it's actually nice. I was going to be more active, but some craziness happened with my account, but you're back. Oh, some craziness happened to your account. Well, I hope you got it all sorted out. Hello, Fernando. Welcome in. It's being hot where you are, Christina Bell. Husband went fishing. This is your first time watching? Well, welcome in. Glad to have you in for one of the lives. You kept dying last night? Well, you stayed up late because you were watching some kind of race, Germany races, I think. Am I remembering that correctly? Some kind of car race. Are the ads going? I guess that's about that time. I always tell Castle you guys are more than welcome to our cold and snow. I'll take it, Cassie. I'll take it. Gladly.
I think people think we're joking when we say that we will trade them.
Yeah, no, I really would. We were sitting outside in the evening last night for church. Sometimes I prefer to get some air. And it felt so good, but I noticed everybody else who was outside was wearing, like, heavy sweaters and jackets, and I'm like, it's nice out here. I was not wearing a sweater. We also ran into places too high of a level for you. Oh, in the game, yes. Which is fine. It's gonna happen. Give me feet of snow and I'll live off of mammoth meat. Where are you gonna get it though, Quirt? The car broke. Oh. The driver that you like. Oh, that's a bummer. Cold is my mortal enemy? Oh no. You're a lizard? Well, you'd probably like it out here then. But welcome in, Silent Reader. Hydrate from Zoe? I missed it. Can we pretend that this is water? It has water in it. That's my hydrate. Alright, they're allegedly trying to bring mammoths back. Oh, that would be interesting. Like the cloned sheep. Your body temperature runs at 100. Ugh. I feel like that some days, and I gotta like sit and get some air on my face. I'll get some ice packs and stick it on my neck. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me aging. You know, the joy of hormones. Hormones. Coffeeholics unite, yes. Yes. Gotta have our bean juice. Dan and the oldest are always hot like that? Yeah, just like I cook. Which is different, you know, obviously I'm a tiny woman. And even if I'm feeling hot, sometimes my extremities will feel cold. But that's kind of a rarity now, and that used to be the norm all the time. Now I just feel warm everywhere. I have a question. Is morning or evening, if it's okay to ask? It's evening for us. It is about 7 p.m. I did see the raccoon. Yeah, he was getting on my case about drinking water today, as a matter of fact. Hello, Caterpillar. Yes, I am a tiny human. Not the tiniest, but I'm pretty tiny. Apparently, some of you are shorter than I am. But I have a very tiny frame, so I might still be smaller in other ways. I didn't think I'd get a pet raccoon. I mean, that's the best. Yeah, where I lived, it reached 90. Ugh. Yeah, no thank you. That's too hot. Once it hits the 80s, I'm just not interested. Not interested. Stop calling me. I didn't name names, Maddie. You're calling yourself out. Yeah, I suppose it's fine if you're a girl. Why is it doing... Streamlabs is just being weird. Well, if it changes again, I'll try to fix it. Maddie, drink water. Maddie always calls himself out. I think he likes it. But yeah, I think we can get into reading. I'm just gonna drink a little bit more of my coffee while it's warm.
So
The specific screamed Maddie. All I said is some of you are shorter than me.
So there's a trend on TikTok right now that is, you search up My Disney Princess and whoever comes up for you is supposed to be like your wife or your girlfriend.
Oh.
The top 3 that came up for me were Belle, Megara.
Megara?
Yeah.
I guess I got snark, so that
And
makes...
Anastasia.
That's funny. I guess that matches pretty well. That is funny.
Especially the...
I guess I was more of an Anastasia when I was younger, though. I was a little bit more adventurous. and snarky. Now I'm just old and snarky.
And so you're very hot-headed and snarky still, though. And it looks like Zoe the archivist brought around for the camera.
Who has who been? Are you asking me? Oh, it's like a sauna for you? Ugh, Corey, I'm sorry. I feel like that. I know it's not that temperature right now in here, but I feel like that.
No, it does feel warm in here.
Nagara, are you hurt, Castle? I mean, no. He doesn't have that, like, bright-eyed personality, so...
Yeah,
He'd be
no
more of a
Wonder Boy.
Hades. Well, is my hair out? Both you and the mystery voice, we're doing fine. We've been doing a lot of cleaning. Castle more so than I. I have been helping here and there, but he's been on like a cleaning craze. And I edit videos. Which you guys should tell me. Are you liking the videos lately? Are they good? Are they like on a scale of give me more, or are they terrible? Accidentally pinned. That's funny. Hephaestus, I think butchering. Is it maybe Aestus? But it's pretty close. But I could be wrong. You are now manually breathing. That's funny. By the way, I know this is random, but you have a really good looking chair. It just has a blanket over it. And the chair, actually, the blanket makes me itchy. So I don't love it, but it's better than seeing a gaming chair that's all falling apart. Thank you. They're on a scale of I haven't seen them much lately. You're killing me. Just kidding. It's fine. I mean, we put out so many videos, like we try to get out a short every day, so it's kind of hard to keep up with all of them. I get that. You like them, Adam? Okay, awesome. You find them interesting and informative? Awesome. Thank you, Cassie.
Who really has time to give us 2 minutes of their day every single day? It seems like
not everybody wants to get on social media every day.
I'm just using it.
I didn't start it this time. Nobody started the chair religion, Maddie. You did. It's you. I'm blaming you. Gotta keep people hydrated. Yeah. I know. That's totally fine, Milo. We just try to keep up with the content so you guys have stuff when you are ready to watch them. But Castle's been working on the format, and I've just been trying to keep up with improving quality. So we just like to hear some feedback. So we give you guys what you want. Oh gosh. Don't do that. I do binge it when I fall behind. There you go. There's nothing wrong with binging. Like cat. No, I mean the blanket's very furry. I picked it because it looks very furry. I thought it looked really soft, but it does not agree with me because I think it has Angora in it. Have you been able to watch RCUN News? I have not. I have not. I'm not sure what that is either. Oh gosh, and Molly Sue's just helping. You guys in the chair cult. You're so silly. Okay. I am hot, but we should get reading. Maybe I'll go jump in the pool later, even though I don't like the chlorine. But, you know. It'll cool me down. That's on Cryptid's channel? The RCUN news? What is? What? Yeah, you can. I don't stop anybody. But I'm not making chair cult shirts, okay? I'm standing on that hill. Not gonna do it. Raccoon news. Okay. Okay, go do a happy birthday video, Milu. Zoe runs it. Okay. What if you make chair cult shirts? I mean, I guess you can. It depends when. I mean, yeah. I would expect that to be 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, not if it's like some like old lady though, probably.
I think
They'd probably
I
just
think- I
creep
think-
me
I think you
out.
underestimate.
But if it was like young and beautiful woman.
You still got to run ads.
Oh. I gotta run ads. Okay. Where'd it go?
What? I don't understand what happens. Like every time you sit down, everything breaks.
I don't. Maybe
You're-
I shouldn't be here.
You're so technologically.
I didn't do
adverse.
anything to it though. It did it by itself. It
All
wasn't
right.
me.
So anti-technology.
Perhaps the chair is a friendly mimic.
I hate when this
That would be alarming.
updates and then because you're not going to be able to see any of your notifications.
Yep,
they
I
come
was
through.
not able to see them.
It's because you are now.
Oh, thank you for the follow.
You are now manually breathing. Followed you.
Yes. And they're going to join the chair cult.
Very cool. Maddie will be happy to have company.
All right, good night, Aaron. Thanks for popping in for a little bit. Get some good sleep. Okay, so we are on chapter 12. We are going to let the ads go through, and then I will start as soon as they're over. So we've got 2.5 minutes. Okay, thank you, Aaron. I am dying. I'm so hot. I don't know what's wrong
They can
with
still
me.
hear you.
I know. It's fine.
Do
They can listen to me whine.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once?
I am one of those melodramatic fools. Neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. You have cheese? I think we should always have cheese. Like,
we have
a necessity of a life.
We have a huge roll of cheese.
I convinced you, Maddie? Okay, yeah, get it and join us. And that will be a full 4 party for... I know... So because we're all in a guild on that game, we can't have a base for everybody. So if you guys want to work on like a base from the ground up, I'll destroy one of my old bases and then you guys can do that. Or you can just take advantage of all of the work I've put into the world already and have all the resources available to you. Don't get me on a 90s rock kick. Why not? It's gotta live forever. I live with Milu? Yeah, I live with Milu. She's got her own little base getting sorted. I mean, you don't have to destroy yours. I mean, you can if you don't like that spot. You kept getting, like, one of the huge pals spawning there and killing you. Pal World gets its full release this year? Oh. Oh. Thank you. Ah, that feels good. Ah, ice pack for the win.
You're gonna have another one for your thigh,
Thank
I guess.
you. Yeah, I just need something that, like, covers my whole torso. Running around like a headless chicken. We were talking about Pow World. Milu was in the mood to play something, and we went over all of the co-op games that we have. And that was one of the ones we shared, so I figured I would help her get the hang of Pow World. So... Okay, are we ready? Here we go, chapter 12. Let me know if you don't hear me well enough. I did turn up the sensitivity on the mic. Here we go. Had my mind not been otherwise occupied, I would have remembered that to get to an island one must go by boat, and that a boat must be on the sea, and that, even though I had grown up on the shores of Kerry, I was afraid of the sea. Only when we came to a small, heavily fortified settlement atop a tall, deeply indented cliff, and looked out to a low-lying island in the north, and I had observed the considerable expanse of rough-looking water between us and this inhospitable place, did I feel the clutch of terror at my vitals. But there was no way I would let my cousin or my aunt, or a single one of those stern young warriors know of my weakness. There was an anchorage and bay. This, too, was very well guarded, by men mostly somewhat older than Johnny's band, and all of them extremely odd-looking. These wore neither hoods nor masks, nor any uniform raiment, but garments of great individuality, made with fox fur or rabbit pelt, with what seemed a serpent skin with leather and silver and bronze all playing a part in their construction. The men themselves were as distinctive, with the same patterned skin as the younger warriors, but each with some extraordinary touch of his own. Hair to the waist, maybe, bound back neat and tight, a semi-shaven head, a ring pierced through brow or nose, a collar of dark feathers. For all their flamboyant appearance, they behaved like professionals, doing their work quickly, quietly, and with no fuss whatever. They treated Leodin like a queen. As for me, they afforded me great respect, with never a wink or a whistle or a comment out of place, for all Johnny's talk of likely suitors. There was, however, a very close scrutiny, especially from a fellow whose name appeared to be Snake, a daunting-looking man of middle years, whose eyes narrowed in his hard-featured face as he helped me into a smallish and alarmingly rocking boat, and made sure I was seated squarely in the middle out of harm's way. The men rowed. The boat went up and down. I forced myself to keep my eyes open and my features calm as my stomach churned and beads of sweat broke out on my face. I clenched my hands tightly together and watched the island coming closer. I did not look back. I thought I had made a convincing pretense of composure, until the fellow named Snake observed, glancing my way. "You'd want to watch out for the sea serpents. Just the sort of day for them today." I stared at him in horror, my heart thumping. And beyond him, at the high crests of the waters and the dark, mysterious troughs between, where anything might be lurking. Then Leodin looked at me and at him, and said briskly, "Shame on you, Snake, to tease the poor girl thus. You're old enough to know better." Snake grinned at her. "Nearly there," he said in a different tone. Leodin gave a nod. Her eyes were fixed on the island now, and there was a bright anticipation there which gave her the look of a far younger woman. I'm not sure quite what I expect. At least, that her husband would be down to meet her at the jetty where we disembarked, though he had not come across the water. But while there were many men there to help us off the boat, and to carry our bundles up a steep set of steps cut into the low cliff above the anchorage, I could see no figure which seemed to match my expectations. There was a young man there, much like Johnny, with the same charming smile and steady look. He greeted Leodin with a kiss on either cheek. Her son, then. And one of the girls had said fancied himself a warrior. He looked every bit of one to me, with his strong-jawed face and capable manner, not to speak of the large knife and throwing-axe at his belt. And there was a boy, though this one had a look of my Uncle Sean about him, with pale skin and dark curling hair which fell over his eyes. That would be the youngest, Cole. There should be 4 altogether, but one was at Harrowfield. Where was their father? Leodin seemed unperturbed. Men crowded to greet her. There were smiles all around. "Oh, that's fine, Bear. We just started. We're only a couple pages in." But also a sort of deference that kept them always at a slight distance, as if they thought themselves unworthy to come too close. We climbed the steps. There were thrice 9 of them. My legs ached. At the top there was a plateau, treeless in the main part, and a group of low buildings surrounded by a sturdy stone wall. In the distance the contours of the land rose and fell, and rocky outcrops, slick with spray, seemed to guard hidden hollows, secret beaches. Caves, maybe. "It's a wild place," said a quiet voice on my right. "But a good place when you get to know it." I looked around. The man who spoke had skin as dark as coal and very white teeth, of which a couple were missing. He wore a feather in his braided hair. "Welcome to the island," he said. "You'll have met my son, maybe." I stared for a moment, regained my composure, and made a guess. Evan? Yes, I have. He put out a hand in greeting, and I took it, and felt immediately the disfigurement. His grip was very firm, but this hand bore surely no more than 3 fingers. Come then, he said. We'll get you indoors, find you a bite to eat and a place to sleep. A rarity here on the island, young lady to visit. My name's Gull. You'll get to know us all in time. Theoden had vanished. Johnny and his brothers had merged into the group of men who now headed off toward the longest of the stone buildings. Farther away I could see a few sheep grazing, smoke from a chimney, cloths flapping in the breeze. A cozy domestic scene, however remote the setting. What sort of place is this? I ventured as I followed the man Gull indoors. What do they do here? He paused, staring at me with dark brows raised. You came this far without asking. It's a kind of school, lass. A school such as you'll never find elsewhere in Wessex and Orkney, from Munster to the far shores of Gaul. A school of battlecraft, you might call it, and more, and a great deal more. Now you'll want something to drink, and somewhere to rest. Biddy. The building was mostly one long open space, furnished with great tables and benches. And at one end there was a cooking area, and here a large, capable-looking woman with a sweet face was ladling soup into bowls for men, each in his turn. The young lady's here, Gull said to her. Theoden's niece, Vanya. So they had known I was coming. My name, even. Johnny's messengers were efficient. My wife, Biddy, Gull added. She'll look after you. Here, sit down and rest yourself. But I was staring out beyond the kitchen entry, to a little patch of garden with a wall around it, a sheltered place where herbs or vegetables might be coaxed to grow in defiance of the salt spray. Through the doorway I could see my Aunt Theoden, and a man who must be the chief, for they were standing completely still with their arms wrapped around each other, and their eyes closed, like young folk who had just discovered love for the first time. His hands were buried in the dark silken fall of her hair, which had escaped its neat bindings and flowed loose down her back. Her brow rested in the hollow of his neck. I was quite certain neither of them had the least awareness of a single thing but the closeness of that touch, the beating of heart on heart. I could not drag my eyes away, and it was not just the intricate, finely graven pattern that seemed to cover the body of this man all down one side which held my attention, startling as it was. I had never thought that men and women of 35, or even older, might still possess such feelings for one another that it drove all else from their minds. I had thought love a fantasy, a delusion of youth, like the passion which had destroyed my father and mother, or the blushes and downcast eyes of Maureen and her young men, which surely could not last long after the advent of marriage, and the loss of youthful comeliness in the cares of calling and family. So I stared, and knew in my heart that what I saw was as lovely and enduring as it was completely unexpected. It filled me with a strange, piercing sadness. He'll not greet her before other folk, said Biddy softly. Not him. And she reached across the closed door to close the door so nobody else might disturb the two of them with prying eyes. I flushed with embarrassment. Can you guys hear the cat wheel? Is it too annoying? I can put him somewhere else. Okay, good. Thank you for letting me know, Songbird, because it's loud to me, but I don't know if the mic is picking it up. Alright, very good. Da-da-da-da-da. It's all right, lass, she added kindly. Now, a drop of ale, some soup, and we'll find you a bed somewhere. What can you turn your tan to? Mending, cooking? There's work for all here. Well, they tell me I'm quite good at looking after children, I said, clutching at straws. These folk seemed immensely capable, in the mold of Theoden and her sons. I dredged my memory for anything of any use at all. I could hardly tell her I might employ the craft to light her kitchen fire, or form stones into fine new storehouse, maybe. I can read and write a bit, and I can catch fish with a hand line." "Really?" Biddy grinned. "Won't be long before you find yourself a husband with talents like those. I've 2 big sons myself, apart from Evan. Smiths, the both of them, fine, strong fellows. I'll wager there'll be competition with a pretty thing like you wandering among the sheep and the chickens. Now you're blushing. Drink your ale, lass, you're safe here. We've rules and folk stick to them. The lads worship the ground Johnny walks on. Not one of them risked his place here on the island, not for the bonniest girl in the world." It was another kind of life. Folk thought, perhaps, that I would be ill at ease and find it hard to settle in this harsh place with its biting winds, its perilous cliffs, and its isolation, not to speak of the mysterious activities of its menfolk. But then they knew little of my upbringing. Opposite corner of the land it might be, but in many ways Innis Isla was like home. Here no blanket of forest shut out the light. I woke to the sound of the sea, in the little hut I shared with 3 other unwed girls. I had my own corner. They found out soon enough that I preferred to keep to myself. Anyway, there was always work to be done. One girl helped Biddy with the cooking. Another seemed to turn her hand to anything, whether it be killing and cleaning chickens, or prizing shellfish off the rocks with a big knife. The 3rd girl, Brenna, was a Fletcher. I must have raised my brows in surprise. She volunteered with quiet pride that it was her father's trade, and when he died, she took it over, so to speak. Now she was one of the best in Ulster. If she hadn't been, she wouldn't be here. Only weapons of the very highest standard were used on the island. Some of the business of Innis Isla was carried out quite openly. There was the bakery and the forge. There was the place down the bay where they seemed to be building big curraghs, and cunning little ones as well. There was a shed where fish were dried and smoked. There was an infirmary which was run by the man called Gull, the one with a feather in his hair, and but 5 fingers on the 2 hands together. There was a Christian priest and also a druid. These 2 spent most of their time together in amicable debate. Both performed rituals. Folk attended one or the other, or neither, as it suited them. There was a small tannery and a place where they did spinning and weaving and a sailmaker's. And then there were other business, which was the reason they were here. One saw a hint of it at the forge, where 2 brawny individuals named Sam and Clem beat out not just pitchforks and shovels and implements for tilling the stony ground, but also a variety of weaponry: swords, spearheads, daggers, throwing axes, and numerous other items, the uses of which one might only guess at. Sam and Clem were Biddy's sons, but not Gull's. Fair as milkmaids, the 2 of them, with rosy cheeks and hair sweet buttercup yellow, and limbs like tree trunks. In the evenings after supper, Sam would play the bodhran, and Clem the whistle, and I marveled that such giants might possess such deftness of touch. There was a woman who played the knee-harp, but there was no piper. While the winter wind whistled outside, and the sea roared its hunger to the freezing air, folk clapped and sang, and even on occasion danced in the shelter of that snug building and the warmth of its hearth fire. I did not dance. I watched. I observed and thought how different things might be from what I had imagined. Take that man, the chief. Bran, his name was. But the only one who used that was Leyden. Once I had thought him a piece easily sacrificed in this game. I had thought I might let Aemon destroy him and break the alliance, and so lose the battle. I had told my grandmother I would do that very thing. For what had I heard of the man until that point? I had been told he was an outlaw, scum of the earth, that he had cruelly stolen Aemon's sweetheart and ruined his life. He was considered at the least somewhat odd. He had made so many enemies over the years that he could never come to Seven Waters. And even more strangely, he managed at the same time to be lord of a substantial holding in Britain. It was a position surely impossible for such a miscreant to sustain. I expected an enigma, but nobody had told me the man's wife loved him more than life itself. I had not known his sons respected and admired him, that his men and women viewed him as something quite above ordinary folk. It became ever clearer to me the longer I dwelt on Oonagh, that although Johnny ran the place, the taciturn, grim-looking chief was the cornerstone of the whole community, the unifying force of the entire enterprise. An enterprise it was, for all the inclement weather. Men came and went by ship, and behind the high walls of practice yards, skills were endlessly perfected. And inside locked rooms another set of skills was taught. Map reading, covert intelligence, poison and antidote, subterfuge and disguise. One could not remain there without knowing a little of it. Still, there were rules, and one of the main ones was secrecy. It was just as well I no longer needed to gather information for Eamon, for I could not have done so without a total transformation. That I could not attempt without arousing Liadin's suspicions. She watched me closely. Another mysterious period of illness would certainly have given me away. I was immensely grateful to Johnny for bringing me to Oonagh, where I needed no longer think of Eamon at all. Hello, Fap Kitty, how are you? Welcome back. The chief was nothing much to look at. There was that flamboyant body marking, to be sure. The pattern was a work of art, and covered him all down the right side, from the top of his shaven head to the tips of his fingers and toes. But apart from that, he was much like Johnny, a shortish, strongly built man with shrewd grey eyes. His mouth was hard. He had not his son's charming smile. The only time I ever saw a softening of his features was when he looked at Liadin, and even then I thought he did not wish others to see such a weakening of his stern image. But he revealed himself in little touches, in little glances. It was clear that they could not bear to be long out of each other's sight. Always he sought her opinion gravely. Always he treated her as an equal, to be duly consulted and respected. I did not care for him, but I liked that. Thank you so much for the heart. What is that one? I can't tell what that is. And then like a little octopus? Sorry, they're so tiny. I can't tell what they are, but thank you. That's funny. Seeing all kinds of new ones today. That's a groovy mug. We got this one for Everett when we went to SeaWorld. That's what he picked out. It's kind of heavy. A little too heavy for my dainty wrists, but it's pretty. Okay. There was an inner circle here. A group of older men who seemed to play the major parts in councils and decision-making, and to have control of various aspects of the enterprise. The chief's visits were rare. His estate at Harrowfield needed his presence, and he and Liadin spent most of their time at home in Northumbria. It was these others, led by Johnny, who managed the work of Oonagh. One thing this group shared was their odd names, which were not men's names at all, but those of wild creatures, as well as Gull the healer, and Snake who looked after matters of battlecraft. There were warriors called Spider, or Rat, or Wolf. The younger men had not such an affectation, though their names did speak of a variety of origins. Corentin, Sigurd, and Wayfrith, Micah, Gareth, and Godric. After a time, Biddy explained to me kindly that in the old days, when the chief first set up his fighting force, the men who joined him had shed their old names and taken a new identity. Their animal names told nothing of their origins or history. They spoke only of each other's own qualities. A dog's loyalty, maybe, or a gull's ability to travel far and see clear. With their names they got their mark, that pattern graven on the skin which was at once a sign of belonging and of fierce individuality. It does have orcas on it, yes. Oh, thank you. It's a pumpkin carrot. That's so cute. That's a cute one. Thank you so much. I forgot where I left off. Yes. Now that they were settled, so to speak, there was no need for the names, but even the young ones still had the mark. You'd know who'd been with the chief since the beginning by the names. You'd know who'd proved his worth by the skin. All answered to Johnny. His youth was no impediment to his authority. There was work for me. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good rest. Sleep well, and hopefully we'll see you on Tuesday. Scribing, for instance. I demonstrated my skills on request and was allocated tasks. Nothing concerning strategies or dealings of war, of course. Nothing touching on the summer campaign or other secret matters. The priest and the druid took care of those. Nor was I given maps to work on, though maps and sea charts were used aplenty by the inner circle. Still, there were books to be copied, and letters written of domestic import, and records to be kept of stock. There were household reckonings to perform. Tedious work, but for me, so easy I could do it without even thinking, and still receive praise for my accuracy. I was asked questions about who had taught me it so well, and I told them a druid and tried not to think about my father. You missed chatty streams, so you're here? Well, thank you for coming back in, Pepinepin. Pepinepin. Sorry. Struggling to talk today. It's because I don't do a whole lot of it except with Castle. I'm more of a listener. Pep. Pep is actually a cute little nickname. This is Child of the Prophecy by Juliette Marier. I don't know where I put the dust jacket. But, let's see. I think, when did this come out? I think this is still early 2000s. She's written a lot of books. Yeah, this one's 2002. So I think not a lot of people know of this author, but all of her stories are inspired by or use Celtic myth and lore. Some of the other, like kind of all around the UK, she likes all of the lore there, and she'll put them into her stories. You might stream again after, not sure. Okay. We have a new storyteller, it appears. She's cuter than the big guy. Yes, I do the reading on Sundays. So if you like to join us for the lives, I'm usually here on Sundays. I was not here the past couple of weeks for... Last weekend was Mother's Day, and then the weekend before that I forgot why. What happened? My brain is failing me. Sorry. But this is actually the third book of a trilogy, but each of the main protagonists is different, following a bloodline. And this book is kind of meant to wrap up the overarching story. The protagonist is a young girl named Fanya, who is the daughter of a druid, or rather a sorcerer who was going to be raised as a druid, but he is also of a sorcerer's bloodline. And he taught his daughter the ways of druidcraft as well as sorcery. And she's meeting an extended family of whom her mother has come from. And that her grandmother had sought to destroy. So it's very convoluted, but it's a very good story. You need to get to sleep, Cassie? All right, thank you so much for joining us. Please have a good sleep. Oh no, well, if she watches the VOD within a certain amount of time, doesn't she keep the streak? I don't quite know how the Twitch thing works, but I feel like that's accurate. I could be wrong. Hello, Pint Goblin! Also, My Streamlabs keeps blanking out, so I can't see when somebody follows or does one of the little redeems. So if I miss it, I'm sorry. I do see that Pep has joined the tavern, so welcome. And it's okay to be late. You're allowed to be late. Is that a spinning Anya? Oh, it just looks like Anya, but it's just a little mascot. It's funny. Okay. Continuing. And because I had so foolishly mentioned children, I was put in charge of my cousin Cole. That had been Johnny's idea, not his mother's. Maybe, I thought grimly, it was a sort of test. I discovered soon enough that small boys are somewhat different from small girls. One could not expect them to listen in rapture to such tales as I had in my repertory, or bite their lips in concentration over sewing, or occupy themselves with dolls. Indeed, I had done none of these things myself as a child. Riona had always seemed less a plaything than a companion in adventures. We're continuing Child of the Prophecy by Juliette Marie. It was winter, and Cole was restless. He was too young to learn the arts of war. He did not concentrate long on practicing his letters with waxen tablet and stylus. He thought ringstones boring. He did not care to play the whistle. Instead, he would wander to the shuttered window and peer through the cracks at the sleeting storm outside and sigh heavily. I saw in his eyes the longing for summer, and felt its echo in my own heart as so many times before. I was trying to copy a book of herb lore. It was in Latin, and I was translating what I wrote, which required a great deal of concentration. Cole kept interrupting. I could imagine him teamed up with Eilish very well. In the end, I put my quill down and went to join him at the window. "When the weather clears," I said optimistically, looking out into the lowering gray of the storm, "maybe you'll show me the rest of the island. I'll wager there are caves there, and beaches, and Selkie's visit. Do you go down to the far point?" In the gloom outside, the whole of the landscape was veiled in slanting rain. "Sometimes," he said guardedly. "Only sometimes. Is it too dangerous?" The cliffs were higher there, that was certain. The waves made an explosion of white as they lashed the rocks at the base. Still, it was no steeper than the honeycomb. "Course not," said Cole immediately, scowling. He was indeed very like Uncle Sean. Long, thin face, dark brows, black curling hair. I regarded him gravely. Another like Sybil. Surely not. This one was, well, to put it frankly, he was too much of a boy. I remembered something my grandmother had said once, about what children might have been born if my father had chosen Leiden instead of her sister. If Leiden had a daughter, I thought cautiously that I might have quite liked her. "Where do you go, then?" "There are little bays on the west side. There's a cliff with puffins, caves, tunnels. Selkies do come in sometimes. It's good there." He frowned. "Shouldn't think you could manage, though. You have to climb down a long way." "You'd be surprised," I said dourly. "Where I grew up, you had to climb cliffs like those every time you wanted fresh water. Nimble as a goat, that's me." Cole looked unconvinced. "The only thing is, you're a girl." Well, my best friend back home was a boy, and anything he could do, I could do." This was so patently untrue, I felt obliged to correct myself. "Except for swimming, and music, and horses." "And could he do everything you could do?" I attempted a smile. "Not quite," I told him. After that, Cole and I became friends, and together we counted the days until the storms of winter should abate, and the sky open again to the pearly hues of Imbolc. We reached a sort of agreement. He would work on his letters for a time, while I labored with quill and ink. I would correct his work, Then we would take turns telling a tale we had invented, about a boy who sailed to strange lands in a little boat, and had all sorts of adventures. Cole was supremely confident, with the innocent assurance of a 7-year-old, that this was exactly what he would do himself in a few years' time. Not just the voyage itself, but the discovery of spice islands, and the vanquishing of sea monsters, and probably even marrying a princess. But not that part until he was really old, 21 at least, because he'd be having too much fun. Time passed. The amulet remained cool to the touch, and I lost the constant fear that grandmother might show herself unexpectedly, perhaps to berate me for delivering Johnny from her spell. Cautiously, I began to wonder if this place was safe. Perhaps that was why she had not wanted me to come here. She had said something about influences, but there had been no sign of otherworld folk. Neither the grand ones nor the smaller ones had manifested themselves since I rode away from Seven Waters. It was merely a strong contingent of highly capable human folk, and rather a lot of dangerous-looking weapons, and the wind and the sea. There were no horses on the island. These they kept at the settlement on the landward side. And there were no dogs, not even to help herd the sheep and goats. There was a cat, which lurked in the kitchen and got under Biddy's feet. It was the oddest creature I had ever seen, with a little hollow in its rump where the tail should have been, and a hopping gait not unlike a rabbit's. Cole told me it came from Mananan's Isle, where all cats were tailless. When I raised my brows in disbelief, he said everyone knew the story. It was the doing of Fingal, with their propensity for highly decorated headgear. They had developed a fashion for hanging a cat's tail from their helms as a kind of plume. Yes. I think in modern times, most people wouldn't want to be married at 21. They would consider that too young. But in another time, that might have been quite old for marriage. Okay. Wait. Yeah. So they made a plume, brindle or tabby or white. And the shores of Man were heavy with Viking settlements now. So the mother cats would bite and the wee tails off their own young as soon as they were born, to prevent a cruelty befalling them later. It was an interesting story and no less plausible than some of my own. Apart from Cole, the family kept its distance. The chief was not a man easily befriended, and I was glad he restricted his discourse with me to a greeting here and there, or a stiff nod as we passed. Still, I had learned enough of him to be aware that while he was on his isla, nothing at all could occur there without his knowing of it. Johnny was the friendliest. He always had a smile and a kind word for me, and would tease his little brother for monopolizing the prettiest girl on the island, which just went to show how few girls there are, really. Johnny had never once mentioned what happened between us on the journey north, nor had I. There was no way of knowing whether he still believed that charm had been my own doing. The other brother, Cormac, was so heavily involved in the work of the practice yard and armory, he had no time at all for talk. They said he was as good as his father in hand-to-hand combat, and him but 14 years old. I would be considered ancient for marriage, maybe. Not impossible. And then there was Leyden. I had heard what she had said about wanting a daughter, and I sensed she would have liked to talk to me, perhaps of my mother, and the times of their girlhood. But Leyden was anxious. I thought she counted the days until summer in the same way I did, but her pale features were sober and her green eyes very solemn. Her menfolk looked ahead and saw only challenge, and conflict and victory. Leyden, I thought, sensed a summer which would also bring blood and loss, as she had once been told. She feared for them all, but especially for Johnny. She watched him with shadowed eyes. My aunt did not ask me any awkward questions, perhaps knowing she would get no answers. Still, she let me befriend her small son. It was his presence, lively, questioning, uncomplicated, that allowed me to get through the winter in a reasonable state of mind. That, and grandmother's silence. The season passed, with rain and gale and shivering nights, and the closer the spring came, the clearer the task appeared in my mind. The clearer and simpler. To satisfy my grandmother, I must be there at the last, at the point when the Allies were about to defeat their enemy. I think that's a reasonable age, Bear. Once there, I was supposed to take whatever action was necessary to ensure the victory did not take place. One can turn an army into toads, I thought, though the use of that charm on such a massive scale was probably beyond my abilities. Or one could do it the simple way, as she had suggested. One could kill the child of the prophecy. There was no doubt whatever that without the venture could not wait. There was no doubt whatever that without him the venture would not succeed, even if he were lost at the very point of victory. A prophecy was a prophecy, after all, and every one of them depended on it. Why else was it Johnny who would lead this venture, instead of Sean of Seven Waters, or a chieftain of the Oonagh, or indeed Bran of Harrowfield, who seemed the kind of man who had never lost a fight in his life? Why not the wealthy and influential leader, Aemon of Glencarna? But this would be no ordinary campaign, no mere territorial dispute swiftly settled. It was an old struggle, steeped in mystery, heavy with symbolism. They had failed against the Britons in the past because they had not had Johnny. They could conquer only when the child was there to lead. Everyone knew that. Lose the child and they would lose their heart and their hope. Very well, then. I must appear to go along with my grandmother's plan until the last moment. I would wear the amulet until the very end. That way she would believe me still her creature. Then, when it came to it, instead of doing her will, I must defy her. I must stand between her and Johnny, so he could win his victory and save the islands. I suppose she would punish me. If she killed me, perhaps it was no more than I deserved for the bad things I had done. I went over it in my mind. My quill poised motionless over the parchment, I was focused, my mind, on how it must be. The battle would be on the islands. The islands were near to the very land of Norsemen and tailless cats. A long journey. A long way from Kerry and from O'Flattery's farm in Connemara. There you go. Just you alone, though, Pep? So much the better. Ships must travel there. There must surely be some stopping place on the way, some safe harbor where the chief's forces might join with those of Sean and Aemon and the O'Neill, and ready themselves for the final onslaught. Then there was a swim, a perilous swim from some place they called the Needle, to sink the Britons' fleet. A masterstroke if they managed it. All hinged on that. Then I suppose they would simply go across in their curraghs, and land and slaughter the opposition. It was most certainly not the kind of venture on which men took a young female cousin. In order to be there, I would need another transformation. No Maz, not this time. No help either. My Fovera friends appeared to have deserted me. Still, I could do it. I would choose another form for myself, and I would accompany the chief's mission. And then I would have to change back again, and for a time I would be too weak to use the craft. That was the big flaw in my plan. I had no idea how long such a battle might last. How well armed the Britons, how difficult the terrain, what effect the loss of their fleet might have on the enemy's resolve. I did not know how long my grandmother would be prepared to watch and wait for me to act. I would need to change back, and then hide myself until I regained my strength. Johnny could win his battle by himself. I could see that in his eyes. But at the end my grandmother would come, and he would need me. And without the craft, I was nothing. They were beginning to test their skills on the sea, storm or no storms. There were no half-made ships and shelters now, but craft of many kinds hauled up on the narrow strip of beach or at anchor in the bay. We saw less and less of the menfolk. I learned that from now until the summer none would visit Innis Ayla to learn the crafts of war. All resources were for the campaign. All men worked for the purpose, and each had his part to play in it. There were crossings to the mainland any day the sea allowed it, and much movement of men and supplies. Sometimes, when it wasn't raining, Cole and I would sit on the cliff top above the bay and watch them. For him, it made a welcome change from the discipline of riding, with which he struggled despite his quick intelligence. For me, it was a good to be out of doors and feel the wind in my hair. Gull had left the responsibilities of the infirmary to Leodin, and now worked all day on the boats. His dark figure could be seen moving nimbly about the decks, and his voice came up to us on the wind issuing curt orders. They appeared to be rehearsing a particular maneuver, out beyond the northern tip of the promontory, where the tide flowed swift between rocky islets. The small curragh, rowed by 6 men, was held just beyond the clutching swirl of the current. Oars used with great skill to keep it motionless there until the order was given. And they let the tide carry them through the gap and out into open water. Again and again they practiced that, incoming and outgoing, and once I saw in the freezing water swimming, and others hauling them up into the boat. Even at such a distance, I identified Johnny. "Your brother's a strong swimmer," I observed, hugging my shawl around me against the wind. "So am I," responded Cole immediately. "When I'm bigger, I'll be better than him. I'll swim all the way to the mainland. Nobody's ever done that." I was reminded sharply of Eilish. Perhaps this sort of confidence ran in families. "Can you swim?" Cole asked. I shook my head. "I don't like the water much." "I'll teach you if you like. In the summer if you want to." I could tell from his tone that this was a gesture of extreme generosity. "Thank you," I said gravely. "Maybe. I'm not sure it's something I could learn." "Everyone can learn," Cole said. "It's easy. Like horse riding, I thought." "You'll need to be able to swim if you're going to live here," he observed. "I shouldn't think I am, not after summer." "That's not what Johnny said. He said you'd wed one of the lads, probably Corrington because he's clever and speaks 3 languages. But maybe Gareth because he's nice, patient fellow, and then you'd stay here on the island. That's what he said. But you don't need to marry them if you don't want to," he added hastily, no doubt reading my bemused expression. I was saved from response by the unexpected arrival of the chief, approaching us from the direction of the practice yard.
Completely unrelated to what you're doing.
Yes?
Steam just released the complete edition of the Steam controller.
Oh, yes, I saw that. I saw if you drop it, it screams.
Yeah, Wilhelm screams. That's what I was going to tell you. They made it so that if you drop it, Wilhelm screams like 1 out of every 4 times.
That's funny.
Stayed away in my chest. The bottom and butt.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to
Yes, you are? For real this time?
Yes, sorry,
If you're doing
Goodness. This chapter is very long. There's still like 20 pages left.
that,
We're 2.5 hours or so, will be done.
We'll go until my voice gives out.
that's like exactly me.
We'll do the thing without complaining and you'll have
Cole, I have an errand for you, son. Go down to the jetty and wait for Gull to come in. Let him know his supplies have arrived at the settlement. He'll want to send someone across with a bigger boat. Yes, Chief. There was a look of pride on Cole's face as he scampered away down the track, fleet-footed as a little goat. I made to get up and go, but the chief stopped me, and then surprised me by sitting down on the rocks by my side, gazing out over the bay. There was silence for a while, a silence in which I realized he had sent Cole away for just this purpose. Shh, I didn't have to talk the whole time, Maddie. Okay? I can game until 3 a.m. because I can be silent most of the time. Alright. Love you.
Oh, you.
Your men will be well prepared for the campaign, I observed eventually. Gold drills them hard in seamanship. Johnny's men, not mine, said Chief mildly. Harrowfield plays no part in this. It has always stood outside the feud. You're right about Gull. His skills with small craft are unsurpassed. His grey eyes were intent on the Cura poised on the floe between the smaller islands. Each one of these men is the best at what he does. And yet, it seems astonishing that a man with such crippled hands can do so much. I must take remarkable strength of will. Indeed. He sounded friendly enough. I thought I might venture another question. How did he? How did Gull come by such an injury, to lose fingers from both hands? The chief's tight mouth stretched in an unpleasant sort of smile. A man named Eamon sliced them off with a sharp knife, he said quietly. I froze. What? I whispered. It was done in an attempt to get information from me, rather than Gull. Eamon wished to see us both beg for mercy before he finished us off. Theoden would not tell you this, and nor would Gull himself. My wife promised Eamon her silence, and Gull has put these things behind him. But some promises, I think, are meant to be broken. It's best that you know this. The man you thought to marry is a butcher, Fanya. His hands reek of blood and betrayal. The full tale will never be told, I think. Few know it. You're well away from him and should stay away. But I was about to say, but he seems a good man, an honorable man. I was about to say he is a respectful chieftain, and your son's ally. But I recalled what Eamon had said about the painted man, and I remembered the light in his eyes as he realized I could give him his vengeance, and I held my tongue. If your father wants a good marriage for you, the chief went on, still gazing down at the point where the men now slipped quietly over the side of the Cura into the icy water, as others strained to hold it steady. He need look no further than Inisela. I'd be surprised if Kieran cared much for the trappings as wealth, respectability, or great land holdings. He'd want a good man for you, a steady sort of man, and there are plenty to choose from here. You'll have offers. Not yet, of course, they've all been told no dalliance of that kind until after the summer, and they obey the rules. But later, there'll be the opportunity, and there's work for you here. The community is lacking in scholars. You speak of my father as if you knew him, I said in surprise. I met him once, and your mother, a long time ago, well before you were born. Would you tell me about it? Not all can be told. I was impressed by Kieran, a young man of considerable strength, of depths I could only guess at. A man driven by strong passions, I think. Love, anger, determination. We met under difficult circumstances. And my mother. He thought for a little before he replied. His hand rested still on the rock beside him. The swirling, complex pattern flowed across his skin like an ancient, cryptic language. Again, the circumstances were unusual. She was not at all like her sister. You mean, I said bitterly. Wait, sorry. You mean she was weak, stupid, and selfish? That beauty was her only good quality? The chief turned his head towards me. His eyes were very grave. They seemed to read me without judgment. Everyone has something unique to offer, he said. In some, that quality may be harder to find. You would never dismiss a man or woman thus, Fanya. Your mother was in severe distress when we undertook the task of bringing her to safety. She was indeed beautiful, a loveliness that is the stuff of tales. She was also confused, hurt and frightened, and the appearance of Gull and myself did little to reassure her. Neve was not in our care long. Kjaran made sure of that. But I can tell you 3 things with complete truth. Your mother was a very courageous woman. One who goes doggedly on when frightened near out of her wits, shows greater bravery than the warrior who charges into battle without thinking of the odds. She loved Kjaran deeply. There was a bond between them that endured despite all. A bond as strong as... He broke off. As strong as that between Leodin and yourself, I ventured softly. He gave a nod. What was the 3rd thing? I asked. This may distress you. We heard she killed herself. I am a sound judge of men, Fanya, and of women. I saw the look in your mother's eyes when she began to realize that she was safe at last, and that Kjaran would come for her. It was not the look of a woman who would throw away the unexpected gift of a second chance. Whoever told you she took her own life lied to you. My father believed it, I said, my voice shaking. How could he be wrong? This upsets you. I regret that. But you should consider the possibilities. Had such a death occurred in my own home, I should have investigated thoroughly. A fall from a cliff, unwitnessed, could be many things. Suicide, certainly. An accident. Or murder. Murder? How could that be? There was nobody there but the 3 of us, and I was only an infant. You're not suggesting... Indeed, no. Your mother was Kjaran's most priceless treasure. Still, you should be aware of my doubts. I do not believe she would ever willingly have left him, or that she would have abandoned you. I sat quiet, staring out to the sea as my head seemed to fill with the tears of an ancient grief. There was a time, the chief said quietly, when I swore I would never take this path, the way of family and community, for it has perils all its own. The ties of love are very strong. They bring a pain beyond any suffering of the body, dilemmas unsolvable save by anguish and loss. But you took it all the same, the path. He nodded. And I do not regret it, but it is necessary now to avoid being paralyzed by fears. My son speaks highly of you, Fanya. They respect you. I did not reply. I rely on Johnny's opinion. He believes you should be here with us. But I cannot disregard Leodin's misgivings. Her visions make her uneasy. She will not tell of them. I understand that, for the sight does not always show true, and to act on its every message would set one adrift in a sea of terror. But what she sees gives her sleepless nights. I find it hard to believe she might be afraid of you. Yet that is how it seems. So despite my own opinions, I must make one thing plain. Who tries to hurt my wife or my sons is answerable to me. Her fears are unfounded. As I spoke, I felt the weight of the amulet heavy around my neck. Then why not tell her so? I don't think she'd believe me, I said in a small voice. It was close to Imbolc, the festival which heralds the first approach of spring, and I had been at Anes Isla long enough to learn folks' names and to gain a little of their trust. I had also discovered Johnny did not make idle threats. One of the young men, still fresh to the island's way of life, had made the mistake of trying to visit a girl by night, uninvited. I did not witness what took place between him and his leader, but I saw him leave the island under guard next day, his face ashen, his eyes betraying his anguish that such a foolish error had cost him his chance to be a part of this. It was the only way, Johnny told me, and there was no risk that such a man might tell of what he had seen. It was part of the training, to learn what fate might be expected if one were stupid enough to reveal secrets. The painted man had a long reach. After that, the young men were very quiet for a day or two. Dark, handsome Corentin, who had had brought me ale or spoken to me of life in native America, now gave me a wide berth. As for Laughing Gareth, who was one of Johnny's closest friends, he always abided by the rules. The most he ever did was glance at me shyly from time to time. Now even Gareth was somber. All of them knew such things must await. Sam and Clem had plans for the autumn. One would Red Brenner, the fletcher, and the other Annie, the young cook. For folks such as these, life might be guarded at times, but at least it was straightforward. Well, hello, Skjor. Welcome back. It has been a pretty long time. Hope you are doing well. YouTube has picture-in-picture on Android now. That's good. Ads into? Alright, I suppose I should run them again. Because it's been an hour and a half. We will see, because this is so long. I can probably read for another half hour. We'll see. Whew. My little ice packs didn't last very long. Boo-boo. What are you doing? What are you doing? I wish we didn't have to do such long ads. I think 1 minute is reasonable, but these 3-minute ones are too crazy. To me. But I know there's like a lot of exposition in the way that Juliette Marie writes, but I still like it. It's not too much. It just kind of like gives you the feel of what she's going through. Thank you, Milu. I guess you got tired of the ad. There you go, you got meat of the Morning Star. Yeah, I probably would have to do them more often, but I mean, I feel like a 1 minute ad per hour is reasonable. It shouldn't have to be 3. I think that's important, Maddie, when you're writing. If the exposition kind of breaks the flow and immersion of the narrative, then you need to take a step back and be like, okay, how much of this is necessary? And how much can be more, show, don't tell. Yeah, 1 or 2 hour long ad would be insane. There was one time, though, I went in to look at somebody's stream and it was like an hour long ad. I'm like, what? This isn't real, right? It's just like one extremely long infomercial. I don't remember what it was, but needless to say, I didn't stick around for it. You had a 5-hour long ad once? No. No way, that's ridiculous. They must not have, like any kind of... You're not kidding? That's insane. Then they must not have any limit. I've noticed some ads are along the edges of the stream. Oh, interesting. I've seen that on YouTube, full movies as ads. That's insane. It was all contraception ads. They're trying to tell you something, Maddie. That's funny. I mean, to be fair, Milu, a lot of the ads I get don't really have anything to do with my interests, so I don't know if it's always that. Okay. Okay, we're gonna continue. For folks such as thee, life might be hard at times, but at least it was straightforward. Aware of the unease in the camp, Johnny proposed a trip to the mainland to collect supplies. While we existed comfortably on fish and mutton and the cabbages, carrots, and leeks from the walled garden, we could not grow grains on the island, nor did we run cattle. So it was necessary sometimes to bring in oats or barley, cheeses or butter, and there was a need for more specialized supplies. This time Brenna was going... What are you doing? Can you chill? Thank you. This time Brenna was going across to check and collect some equipment she had ordered, and so I was allowed to go too. It being more seemly for the two of us to travel together. It was interesting Johnny saw no need for a chaperone, such as Biddy or another of the older women. Deliberate, I thought. Thus he shows these young men that despite what happened, he trusts them. The day was clear, the sea choppy. Brenna chattered away happily as the boat went up and down, and I clenched my teeth and kept my eyes on the far shore. And at length the voyage was over, until it should be time to come back again. Johnny's choice of Gareth and Corrington to guard us was perhaps a little unkind. Both were heavily armed. Brenna unfastened the bundle which was waiting for her in the storage hut, and began a close inspection of the contents, muttering to herself. I watched Johnny and Godric and the others as they hefted various parcels and packages onto their shoulders and headed down to the boat. The settlement was busy today, carts of goods having coming in but recently. Armed men patrolled everywhere. Snake took no risks and maintained a substantial force on this side of the water. There was no casual sailing across, and no unannounced entry to this fortified place. Brenna was taking her time. I went to sit on a bench outside, enjoying the clear day and wondering if maybe the air was a little warmer. My thoughts drifted back to the island. Soon I must venture out and find myself a secret place to perfect the exercise of transformation, and sharpen my skills for the task ahead of me. Maybe tomorrow, or the next day. Thank you so much for the raid, Solemn Senpai. Welcome in. Hope you had a good stream. It's getting a little late too, but we still got quite a ways to go in this chapter. But welcome, welcome. We're reading Child of the Prophecy by Juliette Marie, as I stumble over my words because I'm tired. But we're gonna make it through. I'm gonna make it happen. No excuses. Thank you, Frost. Okay. Vanya, I jumped at the sound of Johnny's voice. Is it time to go? I asked, getting up. Not quite. The lads will want to drop a bail first. There's a fellow over yonder says he knows you. Fellow? What fellow? It must be a mistake, I know nobody. Johnny grinned. I have a feeling you'll know this one. Quite persistent he was. A trickle of cold fear went all the way down my spine. I followed my cousin without a word to a place where a couple of old nags were tied up loosely. An empty cart stood in a row. And there, patting the nose of an ugly-looking bay mare, was a lanky sort of fellow with black hair to his shoulders, and a bit of a beard and a gold ring in one ear. Hello, Curly, said Derek. My heart gave a thud that was mostly horror and only the smallest part of joy. If I could have summoned my wits, I might have told Johnny the man was a complete stranger, and to send him on his way. But I could not even find my voice. I stood there gaping. And suddenly Johnny was gone, and the hovering Corinthian with him. I cursed my cousin's tact. You're looking well, said Derek. I managed at last to speak. What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. Where's Aphie? There was a pause. Sold her, didn't I? He said. I couldn't have heard right. Sold her? Beautiful Aphie, who was so much a part of him she seemed half-human herself. Aphie, who was his luck. Sold her? I echoed. You can't have. Derek looked at the ground. A man doesn't break an agreement to work and travel halfway across Erin without some sort of wherewithal, Fanya. That was the bargain. I got my freedom. O'Flaherty got the mare. She'll be well taken care of. But why? Then there was silence. He looked at me in a way again. I thought there was a new sorrow in his eyes, as if even he doubted the wisdom of his choice. You were doing a voice acting audition recording show. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'm surprised that they don't have a category for that. But that's very cool. What are you auditioning for? Are you looking to read books, or are you looking to do stuff like a serial killer horror game? Oh my gosh. A serial killer in a horror game. That would be hard to do. I think maybe some people might default to trying to do something creepy, but not all serial killers are creepy. They're very normal, but then there might be something slightly off. Oh yeah, Maddie? All right. I'm busy Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't know about the rest of the week yet. So, of course, I need to edit videos daily. Because the character has been voiced before, I use the old performance as reference. Okay, gotcha. You already had something to work from. But that has its own challenges, right? I don't think I'd want to voice a serial killer. Goodness. I don't really like horror games either, though. I like suspense is fine. Like if it has a good story, like Evil Within. Something like that is interesting, but there's a lot of horror games where I'm like, nah, I don't need to stress myself out. Sounds good, Maddie. I'm also still working on your book cover. I want to make sure I get time into that as well. Reminder, actual serial killers are dumb as shit. What? All of them, Pep, all of them. I just messaged one of my oldest mates, who is going to be a grandfather soon. Short story long, when she was tiny, his youngest daughter, my goddaughter, couldn't pronounce very well and called me Uncle Oddjohn. It stuck. I just asked him if I will be Grand Uncle Oddjohn when the new arrival gets here. That's funny. And our losers. Well, I personally don't know any serial killers, so I can't say. I mean, some of them have to be smart, right? If they're getting away with it to the point that they can become serial. But, yeah, who knows? I don't know. I know nothing. I am Jon Snow. One of my granddaughters calls me Batty. What? That's funny. Okay. So Derek has shown up, and so she's gonna start freaking out. Because she wanted him to be safe from her grandmother's clutches. There's nothing for you here, I said in a fierce whisper, furious with him for coming, and with myself for the feelings which welled within me. Feelings a sorcerer's daughter had no time for, not when there were momentous deeds to be done. You should not have come here. It's dangerous. You must go home, Derek. Now, straight away. He said casually. But I could see his hand shaking as he stroked the horse's long muzzle with gentle fingers. I don't think I'll be doing that. You must, I hissed. You can't be here. It'll ruin everything. You've got to leave at once. I can't do it if you're here. Do what, Curly? Do what I have to do. Please, Derek, please. If you care anything for me, you'll go. Now. Quickly, before my grandmother sees you. I could not say it. Well, now, it's not so simple. Why not? I glared at him. Derek looked up and over my shoulder, and suddenly they were there. 4 of them. Johnny and Gareth, Godric and Corrington, bristling with weapons and ferocious of aspect. Every one of them wore the mark on his face. Every one of them looked ready to kill. In this setting, Derek was like... He was like a meadowlark among birds of prey, I thought. In quite the wrong place. Surely even he sees that. Friend of yours? Inquired Johnny, with a smile which did not quite reach his eyes. I do know the young man a little, I said stiffly. From long ago. Your name? Johnny's gaze was sharply assessing. I thought his behavior a little odd. He had not spoken with Derek already. Derek, son of Dan Walker from Kerry. And what cause would you have to travel to these parts? I'm surprised you got so far. Derek glanced at me. Looking for an old friend, you might call it. Helped a man with a horse on the road, got a lift. Johnny made no comment. He simply waited. Behind him, Gareth shifted uneasily, and there was a little scrape of metal. I heard, said Derek. I heard you might be wanting men in these parts. A campaign. I came to offer my services if you'll have me. What? I exclaimed in shock before I could stop myself. Johnny's companions made no attempt to conceal their amusement. I see, said Johnny politely. And what skills do you have which you think we might find useful? Nothing, I snapped before Derek could open his mouth to reply. My voice was less than steady. Nothing at all. This man cannot fight. He does not know how to use a weapon. He's never killed anyone in his life. He would be quite useless to you, I know him. Take my word for it. Johnny looked at me calmly and back at Derek. You heard the lady, he said. We need warriors here. I think we cannot employ you unless you have some other skills. I can play the pipes, Derek ventured. And I have a good hand with the horses. Warriors need horses. Not this time, said Johnny. This venture is by sea. You might find work in the stables on the landward side if you proved yourself. No, Derek's voice was raw with feeling. I stared at him in amazement. Couldn't he see how impossible this was? How foolish he was being? Had he lost all common sense? Well, thank you so much for coming in. Have a good night. What did you do? Did you stub your toe? Are you okay?
Old dumbbell.
Oh, honey. Sorry, baby.
But I guess it's
Yes, sorry. Have a good night. I'm sure you're tired after your stream, so get lots of rest. Everett stubbed his toe on the 20-pound dumbbell. Poor baby. Oh, I am so hot. Oh, I'm dying. Okay. Let's see if I can make it through this. Here we go. Had he lost all his common sense? That's not good enough. I want to be over there on the island. I can learn to fight. I'd work hard. You seem a fair sort of fellow. Give me a chance at least. Johnny looked him up and down. I don't think so, he said. Too much of a fine lord, are you, to have a tinker's lad like me in your band? I'm not ashamed to be the son of a traveling man. I'll prove my worth. At Inisila, said Johnny, who was now regarding Derek very closely indeed. We care nothing for a man's father. It is what he himself has to offer that counts. How far have you come? From the west, from Cain Namara. I see. You are persistent. Still, as my cousin says here, you are not a fighter, and a source of music, while desirable, is not one of my major priorities. Are you sure there is nothing more you can do? Don't say it, Derek, I willed him. I can swim, Derek said, a bit. So I've heard, said Johnny smoothly. Well, I'll have to think about it. I may be back here before the spring is over. If you're still in these parts, we might talk again. And he turned on his heel and headed off down to the Curragh, where Brenna was supervising the stowing of her precious bundle. I followed my cousin blindly, making myself breathe slowly, forcing myself not to look back. It had been cruel, maybe, but it was the right decision. Derek could not come with us. He must not. The men had to pull harder on the way back, against an incoming tide, and we made more gradual progress. My mind was troubled, my heart heavy. Foolishly, what seemed to distress me most was that I had not bid my friend goodbye. I could at least have managed a kind word, I thought. The clasp of a hand or a little kiss on the cheek. It would have been better never to have seen him again, than to meet thus and part so soon with no farewell. The men were rowing hard, their backs to the island. They were still managing a conversation of sorts. Pig-headed sort of fellow, observed Corrington. You need to be crazy to try it, Godric grinned. Against the tide and all. Johnny wasn't saying much. He was simply gazing back across the sea, the way we had come, with the same carefully calculating look on his face as I had seen often on his father's. I recalled his saying once that he was a sound judge of a man's character, or a woman's. I watched him and felt myself grow cold with horror as the meaning of the man's words hit me. I twisted around and looked back. Somewhere between our small boat and the retreating shore, a dark head bobbed in and out of view in the choppy waters. Sleek as a selkie's, it came up for air, then disappeared in the dark trough, to surface once more after a heart-stopping immeasurable wait. You did say he was a good swimmer, I recall, observed Johnny. Just how good? I think we're about to find out. I clutched Brenna's arm in terror. What about the sea serpents? What about the biting cold? And hadn't Cole said nobody had ever done this? "Johnny," I said in a small voice, "it's a very long way. You wouldn't—" "All men must pass a test. Still, we could hardly let your sweetheart drown, could we? Besides, we need him. Halfway, maybe, or a little more. He's already come farther than any of us could manage, and his progress is steady. We might ship oars by the rocks out yonder and let him catch up, I think." "Fellow can't wield a sword, hasn't the stomach to kill a man," growled Gareth. "Maybe he can swim, but what about after?" "Just a liability," grumbled Corrington, hauling on his oar. "He can learn." Johnny's tone was level. "He said so, didn't he? And we have the best teachers on Oonagh." It felt like forever. The tiny, doggedly swimming figure grew smaller, and the waves grew higher, and the air colder as we moved farther away from the shore. Every crest seemed topped by long, clutching fingers, every trough shadowed by menacing monsters of the deep, long-toothed, slippery, strangling. I do not know what my face showed. Johnny glanced at me, and his mouth quirked a little, but there was no concern in his eyes, as something like surprise. Brenna held my hand and said, "It's all right, Vanya. We're nearly level with the rocks. They'll wait for him there." Gareth glowered. Corrington was tight-lipped. Godric and Micah had a bet on whether they'd be finishing an upstart tinker from the water, or a corpse. Or fishing. Goodness. I could feel the ache of... Oh my god. I think I'm losing it. Is the music really loud? I can hear it coming from the headphones. I'm gonna just skip the rest of that one. Hopefully that's better. Okay. We're getting there. I could feel the ache all through my head. So hard were my teeth clenched. I clutched Brenna's hand tight and kept my eyes on the distant dot of black as it appeared and was lost and appeared again. Perhaps she did this, I thought. Perhaps grandmother brought him here, and now she means for me to watch him drown, so she can show me the price of disobedience. She means to show me how foolish I was to think myself strong enough. "Your young man is very brave, Vanya," said Brenna as we came level with the rocks, and Johnny ordered the lads to hold the boat still against the tide. "Very stupid, more like," I muttered, but she was right, of course. He came on steadily, as if he did not know the meaning of fear, as if he did not understand the limitations of a mortal man. Despite my terror and my fury, I was so proud of him I thought my heart would break with it. "And he's not my young man." "No?" queried Johnny. "Well, one thing's certain. It's not the prospect of lessons in swordsmanship that drives him thus." We waited. The men used the same technique they had been perfecting to that point, a balancing of the oars on either side which held the Keurig tolerably still against the pull of the incoming tide. They kept their distance from the rocks. The wait seemed endless. But it was maybe not so long. The dark head became less like that of a sea creature, and more identifiably that of a man, and the strong, rhythmic movement of thin brown arms could be seen through the swell, and the pallor of the face, and the dark eyes filled with grim determination. Then at last he reached the boat, and was hauled in and dropped unceremoniously at my feet, white, shivering, and quite unable to utter a word. The men shifted their grip on the oars, and pulled for home. There were tears there, somewhere, but I could not shed them. Tears of joy, tears of terrible sorrow, tears of fear and frustration. I fastened my thick shawl and wrapped it around his trembling shoulders. "How dare you frighten me like that?" I hissed in an undertone. "You ought to be ashamed of yourself." Then he leaned forward, just a little, and put his head against my knee, and I heard him whisper through clattering teeth, Don't make me say goodbye again. The most powerful sorceress in the world could not have stopped my fingers moving at that moment, to touch his cold cheek and rest there for a heartbeat of time. I saw a crooked smile curve his lips, and then I took my hand away and closed my eyes tight. I would not look at him, and yet I longed to. I yearned to look and store it all up, like a treasure hoarded for bleak times ahead. I wanted to warm his chill hands with my own, to hold them close in the circle of my arms until the shivering stopped. I wanted to watch the color return to his frozen features, and to see the sweet smile in the merry eyes. I wanted what I could not have. It was my great weakness, and if I did not quell it now, it would be my own downfall, and Derek's, and the ruin of the great campaign of Seven Waters. It would be the triumph of Lady Oonagh over all that was right and good. In my wanting, Grandmother had the perfect tool with which to manipulate me. I could not let this happen. Somehow, I must make Derek understand, so I kept my eyes shut, and knew with every single part of my body just where he sat, and how he looked, and felt the need to have him stay, and the need to have him go, tearing me in pieces. From the moment Derek set foot on the jetty in Ennis Isla, shivering and bedraggled, he was a man with reputation. One does not easily escape the effect of such a display of strength and courage. These folk liked that. It was something they understood. And they liked him, who could fail to do so. Whether it was the lack of pretension, or the crooked grin, or the willingness to learn, within a few days he was everyone's friend. Even Gareth and Corrington admitted grudgingly that the fellow was a hard worker. He'd need to be. There was a lot to be mastered and not much time. Johnny expected miracles, maybe. Okay, I think my throat has reached its end. I can't do it. Too much talking. Hello, Joker. But yeah, I can already feel my throat's all scratchy, so I'm not gonna be able to keep it up. Yes, I know. There's actually a little honey in this, so it's like a little burdock concoction. How's it going, Joker? Whew, okay. Oh. I mean, I did guess another 30 minutes, and we just hit the 2-hour mark, so it wasn't too far off. My book is coming in handy really well, writing quite a few pages already. That's awesome. That is very awesome, very good. You are welcome, Bear and Frost, and whoever else has made it this long into the evening. I know it's late, especially if you guys are over on the East Coast. But I appreciate you guys joining me. And I'm sorry I couldn't get through the entirety of the chapter. It was just a little too long for me to make it. Whew. All right. Do you guys want a raspy song before I get off? I'm so happy I fixed one thing in Barry's story that changed a bit of chapter 1, including why her boss tries giving the initial job to Brigid, okay? Part of the writing process is going back and editing and revising where needed. Next time, pick a book with shorter chapters, but it's too good. I had to share her stuff because it's one of my favorites. And to be honest, my other favorite series is also very long, so... And I don't think I'll read that live because some of the content is not... I don't want to say... Like, it's safe for work, but also not. Like, you know what's happening, but it's not, like, explicit. Because it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's actually part of the narrative. It's not in there to be spicy content, if that makes sense. Like there is a purpose behind the action, not to just like be spicy and get people excited, I guess. It's hard to explain, but I really love the author because throughout all of the books, she integrates, it's like an alternate history fantasy book. So she uses the lore and the culture and the like mythologies from all these different areas of Europe and the Middle East into the narrative. So she put so much work into it. Like you can tell she put so much work into it. So I really like them. But yeah, it's not for everybody because it does have some of that stuff. I remember when I read it, most of the people I've recommended it to have liked it, but one of my friends was a little too soft for it. So she was like, "Oh my gosh, no." I don't think anyone here would be bothered, but just fair warning. But it's the first book is called Kushiel's Dart, and the author is named Jacqueline Carey, if you care to know. Yeah, but it's like the thing, I like that the way her writing is, it feels grounded. Like she's not using the mythology to make it like special and fantastical. It feels very real. Like there's weight to it. Not to say that there isn't with yours, Maddie, but like with yours, like there's definitely like whimsicality to your writing, in my opinion. I haven't gotten through all of it yet, but from what I've read, there is a whimsical nature to it, so it's more of like a fun read. Her books are definitely not a fun read, so it's heavy. And I'd say there's definitely like some trauma things that the characters have to go through, so some people might be bothered by that. So that's why I say it's not really for everybody, because it is heavy. But it's good. It's so good. But I could post a picture of them maybe later in the Discord. No, it's not about the spicy stuff. I don't know. So, okay. It's basically the main characters are an alternate history of France. And their mythology is derived from essentially, I don't think it's fallen angels, but like angels who followed this entity that was born of Jesus's blood when he was on the cross. So it's definitely made up, but it's interesting. But they're saying like he was born of the earth and of the blood of Jesus, and then so it's kind of like an alternate child of God, I guess, but he wandered the earth and like 6 angels followed him, and then they ended up in France. So there's like these different factions for each of these angels that have like a specific following and values. And one of them happens to be Kushiel. And he's like the angel of justice. So the main character gets marked by this angel. That's why it's called Kushiel's Dart. She has like this red spot on her eye. And it makes it so that she gains pleasure in pain. So, do with that what you will. So, yeah. Anyway, so the main character, she has quite the interesting experiences with several different people. She also gets captured and traded to a Slavic chieftain who was like uniting the Viking peoples, and then she escapes, and then she gets drawn into all this political stuff, and then she ends up traveling all the way down to the Middle East. But like a real one. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot going on in those books. But the writing I enjoyed it. And they're very long. Like, I think each book is roughly 900 pages, so. And she also likes trilogies. So, like, the first trilogy is one character, and then there's another trilogy of another related character. And then there's another trilogy that I actually haven't finished yet. I didn't read the last one, so I need to go through them all. But yeah, anyway. Do you want a song before we get off? Yeah, I believe that, Maddie. Your phone is overheating? Okay, good night, Fallen Crow. Thank you for joining us. Go cool off your phone before it explodes. You blame Medea for that? You need to blame yourself. And Bonnie? Okay, we can do and Bonnie. And then I'm going to get more ice packs. It's so warm. Okay. Here we go. And Bonnie. Oh, I'll tell you a tale of a pirate queen, a she-wolf who reigned the Caribbean Sea, with a pistol ready and a cutlass keen, the villainous, infamous, Anne Bonny. Born in Ireland scandalously, bastard daughter to a prosperous lawyer, shunned suitor in society for the love of a pirate boy. So Calico Jack and our Anne Bonny, passion lovers, villainous plunderers, sailed off for a life of piracy on a ship, the Revenge, ahoy! Oh, I'll tell you a tale of a pirate queen, a she-wolf who reigned the Caribbean Sea, with a pistol ready and a cutlass keen, the villainous, infamous Anne Bonny. But this was the 18th century, where men make knives and women make wives. So Anne disguised herself to be a deadly pirate boy. Oh, she plundered and murdered and raided the sea, with cannons roaring, pistols warring. She ravaged galleons mercilessly. Oh, Anne Bonny. Then a fellow pirate caught a glance, her naked chest, a woman's breast. So she drew her cutlass and took a stand to be Anne the pirate queen. Oh, I'll tell you a tale of a pirate queen, a she-wolf who reigned the Caribbean Sea, with a pistol ready and a cutlass keen, the villainous, infamous Anne Bonny. And that's when Anne met Mary Read, a pirate siren, female tyrant. Together they terrorized a sea, a buccaneering team. Oh, they plundered and murdered and raided the sea, with cannons roaring, pistols warring. They ravaged galleons mercilessly. Anne and Mary Read. On October 1720, gold they struck, so the boys got drunk. An easy opportunity for a ship of British Marines. Anne and Mary fought alone, with cutlass flying, pistols firing. They fought hard for their ocean throne, but lost their victory. And so the crew were captured, thrown in prison, death by hanging. But Anne Bonny was pardoned, for her belly held a child. So she paid her Jack a visit, and this she said, with no tears shed: "If you had fought like a man, you wouldn't be about to die like a dog." And she turned on her heel, walked out the door, and vanished into legend. Oh, I'll tell you a tale of a pirate queen, a she-wolf who reigned the Caribbean Sea, with a pistol ready and a cutlass keen, the villainous, infamous Anne Bonny. Whew, all right. Sometimes it's hard to get through the song after reading so long. But yeah, I like that one too. It's a good one. The Dread Pirate Wesley, yes, yes. I love that movie. Still need to read the book, but I love that movie. They just integrated like a good amount of humor. Whew, okay. All right, I love you guys. But I'm gonna go get myself some more coffee. And see you Tuesday. I gotta edit a video still, so I can't linger for too long, because I gotta get that done. Oh, you want Soldier Poet King? I can do Soldier Poet King real quick. It's very short, so. It is one of the best movies ever made, I agree. I agree. Thank you, Clifford. Alright, we'll do Soldier Poet King real quick. Hey, Rain! Yeah, we're just gonna do one more quick song, and then we can all go to bed. Or at least wind down for the evening. I'm brain farting on the tune. Crap. Why can't I think of it? My brain is broken. See? It's broken. It's only 2 in the afternoon for you. Oh my god. Can't believe I'm remembering it. I don't want to look in just my library. Heck. Okay, yeah. I remember now. Yeah, everyone call the repairman. He needs to fix my brain. Do you believe in RUSSO? I totally do, Clifford. I totally do. She can't remember Castle's name? That's funny. Okay, now that I remember the tune, let's get through this. Here we go. There will come a soldier who carries a mighty sword. He will tear your city down. Ole, ole, o Lord. Ole, 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 o Lord. He will tear your city down. Ole, ole, o Lord. There will come a poet whose weapon is his word. He will slay you with his tongue. Ole, ole, o Lord. Ole, 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 o Lord. He will slay you with his tongue. Ole, ole, o Lord. There will come a ruler whose brow is laid in thorn, smeared with oil like David's boy. Ole, ole, O Lord. Ole, 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 O Lord. Smeared with oil like David's boy. Ole, ole. Oh! Pew. Well done. See, it's very short. I will send brain gas. Like, see, I can't even talk anymore. I don't know what's wrong with me. I need nutrients. I need to eat something. But I'll take the brain gas X. Why would you break her? Yeah. I don't think anyone broke me. I think it's my own fault. So, we can blame it on me. Everett brought me a muffin. I don't know if I want to eat it though. I don't really feel like having sugar. No breaking the storyteller. Should make that one of the rules. One of the tavern rules. But yes, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I appreciate you guys. I hope you've been enjoying the story, even though I've completely butchered it. I don't know what's wrong with me today, but the point was trying to make sure I arrive. I am here for you, and I continue. Hello, Jaeger. You got a butt-hurt sword? A boo-hurt sword? You-hurt sword. What is that? Good night. Thank you so much, Rain. Thank you for popping in. Hopefully we'll see you on Tuesday. I don't know what he was trying to say there. But anyway. You came at the end, Jaeger. You came at the end. Alright, I will close down TikTok. Good night, my friends. Good night, good night. I broke you there? That's funny. You're welcome, maybe? Oh, yes. Oh, armored combat sword. Very fun. Alright. Yeah, butt-hurt sword. He left out the T's, but that's what it looked like, so. Alright. I will end here for the night, my friends. Thank you for hanging out with me. Enjoy seeing you all. I hope you all are doing well and you have an awesome week. Love you too. Thank you so much. Have a good night. I need to figure out how I'm gonna get this to work. Yeah, there we go. We're good. We're good.